My name is Stephanie Russell. I am Weber County's Economic Development Director and Government Relations Liaison, and we are very excited to be here this morning for this press conference. We have had a fantastic opportunity presented to us over a year ago with Qnergy and the opportunity to create methane harvesting out of our closed landfill. This project has been just catalytic for the county as it relates to our efforts and our vision to embark on a journey into renewable energy. This morning, we're going to have a wonderful press conference with some of our stakeholders, and I'll do introductions in just a minute. But before we get started, we'd like to present you with some informational video on this project.
Public and private partnerships are important to us here in Weber County. For instance, Weber County had an old landfill that's been capped. A local company, Qnergy, has come forward and developed a machine where they can harvest the methane off this old landfill. This has turned it into a great asset for the people who live here in Weber County and also for the environment.
We founded Qnergy on a vision of taking otherwise wasted fuels and converting them into clean, continuous, and reliable electricity. And that's what we're doing right here in Weber County on landfill gas, as we worked with the county and discovered a landfill that was emitting methane. We partnered with them and we were able to provide our technology to turn that otherwise raw emitting methane into clean and continuous electricity.
The Weber County landfill was closed in the early 90s, and since then it has been emitting its landfill gas into the atmosphere. Landfill gas contains high percentages of methane, which is a significant greenhouse gas, and contributes heavily to air pollution. This unit, in conjunction with Weber County, was designed to actively extract and destroy landfill gas containing high methane. The unit uses a Qnergy Stirling engine to generate 5 kilowatts of electricity. That electricity is consumed by a 5-horsepower blower, which actively pulls the gas out of the landfill using a system of well fields. That gas is then sent to an enclosed ground flare to be destroyed and converted into CO2 at a rate which is substantially better for the environment. The average American is responsible for approximately 16 tons of CO2 emissions per year. This flare is able to destroy the equivalent of that in 10 hours. We've been grateful and excited to work with Weber County as we progress and advance towards our goals of emission reduction. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much. At this time, we'd like to do a panel introduction, and then we're going to do some questioning for our panelists, and then if we have a little bit of time left over, we'll be able to take some questions from our audience members and for those that are joining us on Zoom. First on our panel is Todd Ferrario. Todd Ferrario is our Weber County Culture, Parks, and Recreation Assistant Director. Next on our panel is Commissioner Jim Harvey. He is our commission chair. Third on our panel is Ori Zek. He is the CEO of Qnergy. And we have Isaac Garraway. Isaac is the Chief Technology Officer for Qnergy. He probably runs the office too. Isaac does a lot of stuff at Qnergy. Okay, so we're going to go and jump into our questions. Our first question today is for Commissioner Harvey, and that question is, what is the community benefit of this project?
Well, we're the first in the state of Utah, first really in the region to convert landfill gases into something that works out into energy, into electricity. So it helps the air we breathe, it helps reduce the methane, and we just are so happy to be able to be with Qnergy to be able to do this. They're a phenomenal company, a great partnership. We love it.
Excellent. Ori, we've got a question for you. Qnergy is a well-established methane abatement solution provider in the oil and gas industry. How does Qnergy envision methane abatement advancing in Utah's future?
Oh, thank you for the question. I think it's divided to two parts. One is the environment and the other is economics. In terms of the environment, a recent study showed that the U.S. oil and gas industry emits about 7.5 million tons of methane. It's equivalent to the energy used in half the households in the U.S., so it's a lot of waste. Utah turns out to be the leader in terms of the waste. Nearly 8% of the natural gas produced in Utah is going into the air in terms of wasted methane. So in terms of the environmental opportunity, clearly we need to mitigate it and turn it into a product. This is the product of the oil and gas industry. In terms of the environment, methane is a potent polluter that we are turning into environmental benefit using this partnership in closed landfills and in oil and gas.
Thank you, Ori. Isaac, I've got a question for you. How does this project and partnership with Weber County reflect Qnergy's approach to tackling methane emissions, and what are the key takeaways from this particular initiative that we've been working on for the past year?
So Qnergy as a company likes to deploy real technology that actually works, and we've demonstrated that it actually works. Crawl before you walk before you run, prove it, make sure that it works well for you before trying to preach to others. And so being able to work with our own local community, demonstrating our technology, verifying that it actually works just as we expected it to, making sure that it all comes together in a beneficial way, not only for us and our production facility right here in Weber County, but also for our partner, who is Weber County, has been really important for us. So that's kind of our vision with anything we do. And Weber County has come alongside us and allowed us the bandwidth to try things out and to improve and to optimize so that we can do things that are amazing, that have never been done before.
Great, thank you. Todd, how has Weber County Archery Park been involved in this project from the beginning, and what does the future have in store?
This actually began years ago before we knew about Qnergy. We were tasked with converting the old landfill and the methane plant into a park. Sounds easy, not as easy as it sounds. And we end up with a large piece of property that's unbuildable in the middle of the park. So we did establish some trails and an archery park and a few things. And then the opportunity arose to take out the old methane plant, and now what do we do? Because that would only work if it was high percentages. Just our luck was that Weber County had a very advanced technology and a company that was looking at a testing solution for this exact problem. So for our end, it was easy. You know, we had the infrastructure in place. We could get a pad ready for them, hook it up, and let's see. And everything that I've heard, it's multitudes better than I think we had thought it would be and hoped, and the future is very bright for this type of technology.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Harvey, question number 2. Why has the county partnered with Qnergy? What's been the benefit of that?
Well, they're a proven global leader. I've actually loved that both Ori and Isaac they stated, we're going to try to crawl and then walk and then run. That's exactly what they've done with this. You know, when we started with the landfill, we only did a little percentage of it, and then it grew bigger and bigger, and now we'll be able to harvest the entire piece of it. And it took a county that had an old asset that wasn't producing much, partnering with a global leader in this technology to make something now that benefits not just the environment, but benefits the community financially. So it's been a really, really a good partnership. These guys are top notch.
Excellent, thank you. Ori, why did Qnergy choose Weber County to lay roots and to test its state-of-the-art technology?
So, well, we've been working together for a few years, and I think we've established a good trust and respect relationship, and we became like one team.
Absolutely.
And so this private-public partnership mentality means a lot, Stephanie, your team. In terms of how the company started, so a lot of what we're looking for is access to talent. And as Isaac said, we need top-notch manufacturing capability because what we make shouldn't break. It's the high-end equipment. So this county has access to top-notch operation, manufacturing, mechanical engineering talent. We have a good school here in Weber State, so we're enjoying all these infrastructure in a really straightforward way without a lot of red tape. Some of the talent that is missing, like material science and computer engineering, we relocate to the area, and the area is very attractive, which is another benefit because of the mountains. People love ski, people love the outdoors, are happy to relocate to the area and provide us, and we provide high-paying, skilled jobs, and I think it benefits everyone.
Thank you, Ari, and I appreciate that as Economic Development Director for the county. We really take a lot of pride in our workforce here, and like you said, it does include a lot of advanced manufacturing, and you guys we're just so proud to have you here in the county and partnering with our Economic Development Department. Isaac, what sets the Qnergy technology apart from existing solutions for landfill gas mitigation? And there are a lot of different solutions for landfill gas mitigation.
Yes, there are.
But please talk to us a little bit about your technology.
So Todd touched on it briefly, that this specific facility once had a methane collection and power plant. And then Commissioner Harvey mentioned that this is something that's never been done before. So how do you mix those two together? And the reality is there are a lot of technologies out there today that are able to take higher levels of methane concentration from relatively newer landfills and convert them to electricity. It's a very known industry. Every state in the country has systems like this. What we bring to the table and what Todd touched on is old, closed, legacy landfills where the gas is no longer valuable to anybody, and can't really be used for pretty much anything anymore due to the low concentration, the low pressure values. The gas truly is useless and a liability. And that's something that truly has never been done anywhere else. To go into a landfill that was closed in the prior century. This landfill was already closed and packed off in the prior century. It contains garbage from our grandparents and our parents is there, and yet it still creates a environmental hazard. And so we are able with our technology, because our technology works pretty much with any gaseous fuel, it can operate on this low value, low pressure gas that really no one else really can do anything with.
Thank you. Todd, how will the carbon credits from this project be used in the future?
Well, it's really a capture first. So when you look at any of the renewable energies, one hard thing for municipality is return on investment is not easy. They're very expensive to do the right thing. We all know that. This gives us an opportunity to partner, to move forward in some of the sustainable energy pieces that we're looking at. And as time goes by and we capture these credits, they get turned into carbon credits. Those will help sustain the project and pay for the project. Long term, those funds will start trickling back to Parks and Rec, to what everyone thinks of Parks and Rec as, the enjoyment of the outdoors, our trails, our facilities. So it's not a fast turnaround, but the landfill wasn't created in a day, and we're getting it back slowly and surely with Qnergy. So,
thank you. Just an overall question for the group. What is our future partnership looking like with Qnergy as we move forward? I'm going to start with Isaac on this question.
Having the ability to work close to home on real problems with real people, real issues is really proven successful. And I see that as we continue to roll out improvements to this technology, being able to get feedback from Todd and his team, as well as from the larger Weber County team, how we can optimize our offerings so as to work better. That's how I see our partnership moving forward, is really closing that loop so that not only is it something that's beneficial for us, but it needs to be beneficial for you guys as well long term.
Ori?
I feel like, the saying that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So with Isaac here and Spencer in the audience that developed a lot of what we see, I have an amazing team. So I don't have a lot remaining to do except think about the future. So I think as we expand our manufacturing capability, this is a great place to expand in. This is a great place to do business in. So we're looking to expand our manufacturing in this region. And as you think about methane, as a broad business opportunity for Utah and this county. We know that methane is, after carbon dioxide, methane is the most potent global warming pollutant. But it's much easier to abate than CO2, as Todd said. Renewable energy is is hard to replace conventional energy, but methane is essentially a valuable product, so abating it is simple. So we see ourselves as perhaps a seed of a methane abatement hub that you guys would like to form, because what we do captures part of the problem, but it doesn't capture all the problem.
Absolutely. Commissioner?
You know, for us, we have a lot of opportunity in a lot of different realms. It is refreshing when you meet a partner that does what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. They've built a relationship of trust, of integrity, and of deliverables. It works good for county. It works good for the citizens of Weber County, for county government. It has been nothing. It's all a win-win. It's certainly not a too good to be true. It is a real thing that works very well, and has turned what would be a liability into an asset for us. And so we really appreciate the company and the brains, the giants that you talked about, Ori, that have made this possible, because you're making the greatest place in the state of Utah even greater, and that's Weber County. Thank you.
Love it. Todd?
One thing I would like to add is we can all applaud what we're doing at the landfill, which is pretty phenomenal. We just happen to have what's turned into a little bit of a gem that was a scab before. We have other pieces of property, not only in our county, but this beta test hopefully allows Qnergy to go out and do this not only in our state, but in the nation. And in return, it builds a company that's based in our county. So very rarely do we get to do the positive piece of sustainable energy, cleaning up something that we know is an ongoing issue, and helping build a company with high-paying jobs and talent in our county. Your economic development, those stories are not frequent. So this little project hopefully rolls into something bigger for both the county and for Qnergy. I think that's the outstanding piece of this.
I would agree wholeheartedly. And just as a special announcement today, we're in the process of working out some agreements to do a second harvesting project, which is going to be in our C&D landfill out in the inland port area. So we're really excited to be embarking on that new adventure with Qnergy in the county. And we'll have a launch for that project when we get all of the pieces into place and get that out to our citizens to start looking at and reviewing, and keeping an eye on all the exciting things that we have going on in Weber County as it relates to renewable energy, as it relates to supporting our local businesses and helping grow our community as a whole, and grow it in a sustainable and proactive fashion. We have some time today to do some online questions, and we'll take some questions from the audience as well. So Ashlyn, you want to go ahead and ask that question?
The question is, what are the advantages of Qnergy's biogas generators compared to other brands' biogas generators?
And everyone immediately looked to Isaac.
And as Ori said, we have Spencer in the
I
audience.
was going to say we've got Spencer in the audience as well. If Spencer, if you want to answer that one, you're welcome to tackle that.
Isaac sent me over the weekend a competitor that makes microturbine generators, and it's important to be informed on your competition and what the field looks like. And this microturbine generator company, they advertise their microturbines in the 12 kilowatt area, and so they're about 2.5 of what ours do. But they advertise true multi-fuel, quote, true multi-fuel, and then they have asterisks. Your biogas has to be above 60% CH4, and that's easy to burn. I checked this morning, Weber County landfill is at 35. That's unburnable to anybody but us. There is nothing on the market that can burn that. The benefits of having a closed engine, meaning that no fuel enters or exits the actual engine itself, means that we can take fuels that no one else can. So in this case, really the market has failed to come up with a biogas generator that can touch where we can.
Thank you, Spencer. Do we have any questions from the audience members?
I have one more online.
Oh, one more online. Great. Oh, great.
So next question, how does this project fit into the long-term sustainability and renewable energy strategy in the county?
I can take that one.
Please do.
We are always looking for renewable energy, everything that we do. We think it's responsible to do so, especially as long as it turns liabilities into assets for those who pay property tax here. And what that does is mitigate their property taxes. So it would benefit those who come here because they're eventually, we use a base that helps those who live in our county have less burden within their household.
I would agree with that.
Oh, I'm glad.
I note there was a press release about expanding the scope of the project in May to expand methane abatement project to eliminate more than 95% of the methane emissions at closed landfills. What is the status of this now, and how do you measure the ROI of the investment and the harvesting of methane?
That's a great question. Isaac, you want to tackle that one?
Yeah.
And maybe give a little tiny bit of history on why we decided to expand the project.
Correct. So each one of our generators is relatively small from an energy perspective if you look at an entire landfill. And as we deployed our technology initially, we realized there was significantly more methane available for conversion. When I say conversion, it's to remove it from the CH4 to oxidize it into some sort of usable byproduct. And so what we're actually doing is using our generators so as to employ a vacuum system that essentially is able to extract the additional methane out of the landfill, and then we convert that into carbon credits in a way that allows us to monetize the activity that we're doing. So our generators are empowering us to create carbon credits. I'm oversimplifying, but in about 2 minutes, that's what we have.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
So from the non-scientific person who runs Parks and Rec, what I learned is, we tested a lot of those test holes because there's metering holes all over that landfill. When we hooked this up, we had no idea what would happen when that pump started. We had a percentage that was burnable, but we turned the pump on and 5 days later, we drew everything out of that landfill. So from what I understood was the surprise was not only do we have a lot, but it's holding, yes, which allows the expansion because there's more to burn than we may have thought. But as it didn't take a day for us to put the first one in, that's a process of the cost versus the return. So I think that's a little bit of the pattern. We updated and upgraded what was on site to actually get even a clearer picture with the burner and things like that. And then we moved to step 2. So I think that process is ongoing and we're here to help. So.
Yeah.
I'll augment on what Isaac and Todd said, that one needs to be creative not only in the technology but also in the business model, because the business model needs to make sense to the entire ecosystem. So these closed landfills are not regulated. Namely, you can emit, it's not good for the community, not good for the environment, but it's not regulated. Once it's not regulated, you can capture carbon credits. And the carbon credit market has its volatility, but it is a viable market. So the way we structure these agreements, and you're the first, is we share the revenue from everything needs to be free to the county because there's no extra budget, no extra taxpayer budget for this type of equipment because it's not regulated. So we provide the equipment for free and then we share the revenue. And this creates a true win-win. And as Todd said, this garbage that was buried years and years ago contains a lot of methane that needs to be sucked out before it leaks.
So just to continue on that. So what we've done there is we've taken a process that has now expired. It's past its useful life. And we've turned it into a revenue generator that goes back into the county budget, which helps reduce the burden on the taxpayers. And it's not huge, but it's something. It's a step in the right direction. And as we continue, it'll just continue to do better.
And I wanted to add that Weber County falls under the non-attainment status for the state, which means our air is not clean. And that's one of the reasons that we decided to really look at renewable energy sources in the county and creating these types of partnerships and projects, because we want to create an environment that's sustainable for long term. Not just for the people that live here currently, but for the people that will be living here for generations to come. And mitigating landfill methane is probably one of the best things we can be doing right now at this time. And every little bit helps. So this has been a fantastic project. Do I have anyone from the audience that would like to ask a question? Okay. Let's go through and do some closing statements and call it a wrap today, gentlemen.
I just appreciate the team. You know, we've looked at that piece of property, and Stephanie, as you know, you and I have looked at the potential of a solar array or something. It's non-buildable property. And one thing in renewable energy, you know, you can't take all the farmland and you can't take the land that the houses need to be built on for future growth. So this is a win-win with still some potential out there for, again, so we look forward to the next step in this process too. So.
I want to thank, what originally attracted this company to our area was our talent base. We have a fantastic talent base of manufacturers that's been proven for decades, especially with our asset, the Hill Air Force Base, and all the components that are made around the hundred thousands or millions of parts that are going out there. Our talent base and the people here in our community are very, very good at what they do. That's what attracted another wonderful global company here that's allowed us to perpetuate into the contract we have today. So we appreciate those who have come before that allow us to do this today.
I just echo and want to extend our gratitude for the, essentially it's a hospitality and a great win-win relationship and partnership. Some companies focus on hype. We focus on substance, and I think we have the can-do substance mentality around here, which we really appreciate.
I have nothing more to add except that Stephanie, Russell, and Todd, both of you guys, Todd Ferrario, you guys are awesome talent for the county, and your teams have made this a success, almost more so than us, allowing us to work within the county. Thank you.
Wonderful. And thank you. Thank you for all those who participated today, and that's a wrap.